there, friends. Welcome back to Second Star to the Left. I'm Michelle, and this is my daughter, Billy.
Hi.
And here's where we'll share board game reviews, ramblings, and a few wrong turns along the scenic route. Welcome back to another episode of Small Space, where we talk about small box games that we've played in our small space.
Hi.
It works.
It's clever.
And also, we just really enjoy small box games. So we have a small pile today. Yeah, small box games. Okay, first up is one that we mentioned in one of our monthly wrap-ups, and one that I've been having a lot of fun with, and that is Palm Island. Palm Island is designed by John Meatling. Palm Island is a game where you create an island in your palm.
Oh, I get it.
You can hold the whole game right in your hand. I know that when I talked about this in the wrap-up, I said this might be good for waiting in line, and people in the comments were like, no, don't play a game waiting in line. How can you do that? I haven't.
Yeah, it was
yet.
kind of insane, yeah.
It isn't insane. You could do it. Plus, there's
just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Have you not seen Jurassic Park?
There are 2 wallets in here that each hold a copy of this game, because theoretically you can play it with 2 players, although I never do.
That's right. Of these games we're about to show, I've technically only played one of them, although I've heckled at many of them.
Yeah. Well, you could play this because there are 2 copies and then we play with dueling goals, but primarily I play it just by myself, which means I could have 1 copy that I use for standing in line, and if anything happened to it, because once it hits the ground, it's a no-go for Billy, I could play the other copy. It would be fine.
I don't know about that.
This is a tiny resource management game, so the cards have...
Is the game tiny or are the resources tiny?
Yes.
Oh.
They're multi-purpose cards that have resources on the top that sometimes you have to pay for, sometimes they're free, and as you acquire them, you tip those cards to the side, so you're holding on to them, and then you can use them up. But as you go through the deck in your hand, if those resources get back up to the front of the deck, they're wasted and you can't use them. You have to turn them back. Oof. So you're trying to build...
Happen a lot to you?
Sometimes. You're trying to build out buildings that will give you more resources to build you more buildings that will score you points. And the cards get either turned upside down when they're improved or flipped over and turned upside down. So each card kind of has 4 different levels of what it can be, and then it has resources on it that you can use at each level. It is a really fun little game to just have with you and be able to play anywhere because you don't have to put it down. It requires 0 table space because you're building an island in your palm. Yeah, that's never not going to be funny. Anyway, we've been getting a lot of play out of this one this month, and that is Palm Island. The next one, which technically Billy should have played because I had to look up a solo mode that doesn't exist in the box, is Enchanted Plumes. And this is the kind of game that I think about as a cup of tea game, where you just sit down and play a nice, relaxing card game. You're basically building out...
She had to do this twice.
I did. You're basically building out beautiful peacock tails, and each card is a feather in that plume, and each of those feathers is a different color and number, so you're building sets of colors that have to match. And how you do it is build this kind of inverted triangle. The cards on the very top row, the widest part of the triangle, score negative against you. So you're going to want to put 0s up there or 1s. And then in order to build down, you have to match a color that exists in the row above it. So I can't put a blue card on it if there's no blue card in the top row. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When you're playing solo, instead of your opponent taking cards from what's called the train, which is this kind of row of cards that you can draft from, instead of having an opponent draft against you, which I think might get a little mean when you were playing with someone else, the AI just takes a card from the end of the row, or 2 cards depending on what round it is. And you play this out until the peahen shows up and then the game stops and you score your points. And if your little inverted triangle is complete, if you got all the way down to the last card, then you score bonus points. But if not, you still score for it. You get negative points for that top row and then points for all the other cards. This is a really relaxing, very beautiful game that takes about 10 to 15 minutes to play by yourself. I have not played it with more than one person, but the rules for the solo variant are on Board Game Geek, and they were super easy to find and print out and super simple to follow if you already know how to play. And if you don't, like me, it was still really easy to go through that rule book and figure out the solo variant. You should play this one with me.
Maybe, eventually.
So I'm going to be playing this one solo some more. The next one up is one that I was very excited to get because as far as small box games go,
It's the very smallest
this
box.
is a very tiny box. Really, really tiny. Especially for a little, like, kingdom builder game. This one is called Pocket Master Builder, and you are building out a kingdom. The one thing that you said about this game was it takes up a whole lot of space.
Yeah, no, for how small the box is, it takes a huge amount of table space.
It does. You're building out this big, giant, I think it's 7x6 grid of cards. This game and I only had one play, and I really wanted to get along with this game. I'm not sure yet. It felt too busy for me. It felt like there were just too many choices for a solo game. It is a 1 to 2 player game, so maybe it plays differently with 2 players. I bungled a couple of the rules.
Yeah.
Billy was sitting there listening to me go, I did it wrong. So I'm not ready to throw in the towel and give up on this game just yet. I will say that the cards are really busy, and while the iconography is solid, it is sometimes hard to find when it's laid out in this big tableau that's just swimming in images and iconography and numbers and colors. It just felt really busy, and it didn't feel like there was a lot of reward for my effort in deciphering all of that. Now, again, I got some of the rules wrong, so I will play again and let you know. For some people, this may not be a problem at all, but for me, there was just too much going on the board and not enough clear sense of what that goal should be at the end. So I was really excited to try this one. I really like the theme. I really like the production as far as the quality goes, but the images were just so busy that I kind of felt anxious the whole time I was playing it. Let me know if you've played this one and you've had a different experience, or if you're looking forward to trying this one. I definitely am going to give it another go, but for right now, this one and I didn't get along that well. For anyone who watched our wrap-up last month,
You got the wrong one.
about me getting Boomerang Australia in Spanish, let me tell you that that's not the only time that I have misordered a game in the last month. I was very excited to get this nice copy of Oh My Goods, which is just a little resource management tableau building small game that I've heard a lot of really good things about. It's an Alexander Pfister game, so I was really excited to try it. And then I found out that there was a solo expansion that was kind of like a campaign, and if you ordered them, then you could play it solo, because I wasn't sure if this was going to be the kind of game that Billy was going to want to play with me, and it seemed like a perfect little solo
It does actually
game.
look like something I would
And
play.
it really looks good.
I would like to try
And
that.
so I ordered this, which, by the way, if I would have read, says in order to play this, you will need both the base game and the Longsdale and Revolt expansion. I got the expansion to the expansion for the solo mode, so I couldn't try it yet. But I did want to share with you that I was going to play this lovely little small box game, and hopefully if any of you have played it solo, you can give me a tip or let me know what you think about it. And I promise that next time we do small box games, because I did order the other expansion,
Of course.
I will have a better idea of if this one's going to stay in the collection or not. But hey, be careful when you order things. You should probably read the whole description.
Or like even the start of it, I imagine.
So That is my not a review of Oh My Goods.
The review is, oops,
Whoops.
the penultimate one.
The penultimate one just got here yesterday, and I have already played it 7 times.
I sure hope you like it.
I do like it. So this is Grove, which is the follow-up game to Orchard, which is this just little 9-card solitaire game. In Grove, instead of just counting how many trees you've kind of layered up, you're also counting the fruit on the trees. So instead of just counting the levels of trees, you're also counting the fruit, which means there are more numbers to add up. You can increase your score more, unless you're me, in the first few tries. But also included in here...
What was your score again?
I'm not saying that. I don't actually remember. And I did better later on, but the first game, not good. But also there are little recipe cards in here that you can add as additional objectives. And they've gotten rid of the rotten fruit that was in the Orchard game that let you place non-matching color on top of the other one. I don't know, I only rarely used the rotten fruit, but in this game you can place a card that doesn't match, but it has a little squirrel instead, and somehow I'm much more likely to place a mismatched card and put a cute little squirrel on it
I don't want to put rotten fruit.
I love the additional objectives. I like the idea that there are these cute little recipes like key lime pie and lemonade and cherry tarts that you can make. I will say that the cards look red and the dice look orange, and so I'm always looking for the wrong color. That's probably just me. It is basically the same game. If you have Orchard and you love it and you want something that's just a little bit more, but not so much that it's complicated, because part of the joy of Orchard was you could just sit down and play it, and it's just a quick little 9-card game. So it didn't matter if you didn't do well, you could just start over and try again. It wasn't complicated, it wasn't heavy. So this just adds a little tiny bit more, not enough to take away that joy. Do you need to own both of them? No, you don't. Will I keep both of them?
Yes.
Yes, I will.
Yes, you will.
Because I do like the simplicity of Orchard, and while this one isn't more complicated, really just adds those little recipe cards and a little more counting. I think there's days when I'm going to prefer the basic version and days when I'm going to prefer the one with more fruit.
But no rotten fruit.
But no rotten fruit.
You sure there's no rotten fruit in that one?
No, there's no rotten fruit. You have Grove.
You said rotten fruit last night when you were playing it.
I was playing Orchard.
Were you?
Yes.
Last night.
Was I playing up here?
Yeah.
I've only played this downstairs. See? They look very much the same, don't they? Turn around, it's right behind you. The other thing this one adds are groves, which are blank spaces on the cards.
Grove adds groves?
Yeah. I actually didn't notice that.
Seriously?
Yeah. It leaves a blank space where you can put it on top of another color without being penalized. You don't get any more bonuses. You can move the die on top, but unless you put another fruit tree on it, you're not going to score any points. So it adds a couple of little layers of things and a squirrel, and
Yay.
he's cute. So if you liked Orchard and you want something else, then I recommend Grove. If you're happy with Orchard, it's not necessary to get this one, but
Yes, it is.
Billy says it is. Honestly, you probably will wind up picking one or the other. Unlike us, I am going to keep both. I just really like them both. And we're on to
The final game.
the one that you played.
I was going to make them guess.
I don't think they're going to need to guess.
Yeah.
We got Star Wars Jabba's Palace, which is Star Wars Love Letter.
It's really fun.
But we haven't played Love Letter. Well, since you got Princess.
We played Gay Love Letter.
We did. However, this one, Billy, which one's your favorite love letter?
Star Wars.
Even though last time we played,
I
you
know,
said
I
Princess
know.
was your favorite love letter.
It's still second place. It's still close.
Right, but this one's the best one.
Yeah.
It does have 4 objective cards, kind of, for who the winner will be, but in a 2-player game, they don't really come into play. Someone gets knocked out of the game way before.
That's code for we haven't tried them yet.
No, it's not. I had them out. It was right
You
here.
had just the one super
Exalted
basic one.
Oh,
Yeah.
ugh. I knocked you out the whole game when I won, so it doesn't matter.
I won. I won.
You did not.
The first game, I won.
You did not. You did not.
Oh yeah, I was just remembering that time I had Luke and
You won
Jabba.
one hand.
But it was a really good hand.
That is not winning the game.
Show me your card. It's your doom.
So we actually had more fun with this silly little love letter game than we have playing love letter in a long time. And it's not great at 2 people. Love letter is meant to be played with like 4 people. I would say 4
But
is
it's still
the
really
perfect.
fun, even with 2.
But this one, the way the cards are balanced, it's not only just the numbers, but it's also the Rebel Alliance versus Jabba's palace. So there's even more choices and decisions and guesses to be made. It's really thematic how it works and which cards have which powers. And if you like Love Letter at all, this is a really good one to try. And if you've been on the fence but you're a Star Wars fan, then you will enjoy this one.
Definitely get it.
Those were the small box games that we've played recently. What small box games have you been trying out? Please tell us, because we're always on the lookout for another one. Have you tried any of these, and what did you think? Thank you for watching. If you like what you see,
Or if you'd like to keep watching until we get one right.
then please like, subscribe, and share. If you want to find us elsewhere on social media, including in our Discord, all that information will be down below. As always, open tables, open minds, and play your shelves.
Bye. Feathers that fell out of your butt.
I don't think they fell out of their butt.
Tell me, where do peacock's tail feathers connect?
On their hind quarters. Shut up.
Where did you play it downstairs?
On dining room table.
Okay.
Yeah. We have tables in different rooms.
I don't buy it.
The other.
What
Thank
was
you.
that?
I was thinking if there's anything else I needed to say. There's not.